So if you consider yourself lazy, but you want to be financially successful, this video is for you. There is a way to get rich with the minimum amount of effort needed. And yeah, this is going to be my raw and honest take on how to actually do it, coming from someone that did it themselves. Yes, I broke through my own laziness that was ruining my life, and I became rich. And if I can do it, so can you. This video is really going to change how you think about laziness, luck, and wealth. And more importantly, it's going to excite you to get rich in a lazy way. So on my iPad right here, I have my luck diagram. I'm going to make it big on the screen so it's easier for you to see. But yeah, basically on the x-axis, we have action, right? So on the left, we have low action. On the right, we have high action. You can think of action as movement, doing things, meeting new people, whatever it is. We can just sort of think of it as movement or action. Now on the y-axis, we have luck and money. So on the top, we obviously have high luck and high money. On the bottom, we have low luck, low money. Now I'm introducing this new line called the what you create line. And the reason why this line is so important is because you are in control of it. So on the bottom left, you can see that if you have low action, low movement, you're going to be creating a low luck and low money. I like to think of luck and money as very similar because you really can't have one without the other. Yes, the richest people in the world are extremely lucky, but they were able to usually create their own luck. And that's why I like to bundle these two things together. Not a lot of people do it, but I like to do that. So as you move along this curve, you're going to see that as you do more and more actions, you're going to create more luck, and hence you're going to create more money. So the richest people that I know in life, they have really, really high action. They're always in this quadrant right here, and they're also extremely lucky. Any rich person that tells you that they're not lucky, they're BSing you. A lot of luck is involved, but the great news is that you are in control of your luck. We all have different starting points. It's definitely harder for some people than others, but you can still absolutely create an above average amount of luck in your life. And that's just basically with high action, high movement. Now I'm introducing a new line. It's called the what you lack, what you need line. So as you can see, if we're starting out here with low action, this means that you lack luck and you lack money. At the same time, you need a lot of external luck in your life. And external luck, you guys, is the last thing you want a lot of because you're not in control of it. As you slowly move along this line and get towards more and more action, you'll see that the amount of external luck you need gets lower and lower. And that's because you're creating your own internal luck. So yeah, I guess I should probably say, when I say luck, I usually mean internal luck, luck that you create yourself, because no one is in control of their external luck, because just by definition, it's luck that you're not in control of. As you create more and more action and movement in your life, the amount of stuff you lack or need also goes down. So that's basically inversely proportional. And it makes sense because as we decrease the amount of things we lack or need, we're increasing the amount of stuff we're actually creating ourselves. So if you're looking at the gold line, you obviously want to be right here. And then if you're looking at the blue line, what you're in control of, you obviously want to be right here. Being in this section over here is the worst place, and it's all due to low action. The thing is, lazy people need the most luck, but they do the least to actually create it. And so what I like to say is, if you think you're unlucky, it's probably just because you're inactive. Now let's talk about the myth of lazy wealth. Can you actually make a lot of money without that much effort? Now, what I will say is that a lot of people want wealth without movement, and that is just impossible. And before you actually click out of this video just because you think it's clickbait, I will say that movement can be easy. Movement does not take a lot of effort, and you can be lazy while doing a lot of movement. If we rewind back to my early days after college when I graduated, that was my lazy season. And if I were to basically summarize what I did every single day, it was not that much. Like, I barely did anything. I'd stay in my apartment, I would browse the internet, but I wasn't going out there moving a lot. I wasn't trying a lot of new things. I wasn't learning a lot of new things. And the main reason for this is because I was trying to get into med school, something that I was not passionate about. In fact, my parents, they wanted me to go to med school for a long, long time. I sort of just went with it, even though I hate blood, I hate needles, I hate the hospital. And while I would say I was pretty good at studying medicine, I just did not love it. I did not have a passion for it. And so taking actual movement or action was extremely difficult for me. I thought I was being lazy, but the fact is I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to do it. The thing I should have done was take action towards the things that I wanted to do, such as, for example, learning about the things I cared about, like business, and even starting my own business, because that's what would have brought clarity, not inaction. And it is one of the biggest traps that people fall into, which is overthinking. It's probably what you do. I do that a lot too. And the worst thing about overthinking is that when you're thinking a lot, you're not taking action. And a lot of people mistakenly think of this as being lazy when they're not, in fact, being lazy. Take a moment and think about it, right? If you think you are lazy, but you're watching this video about how to actually make money, that's sort of a contradiction. Yes, in the title, it says how to get rich while being lazy, but the fact is you are actually taking action on trying to be rich. So maybe don't think of it as you being lazy, because I don't think that's a good term to put on anyone. Rather think of it as like you just haven't found the thing that clicks just yet. And for me, it took years and years to find the thing that clicked. It took a lot of trial and error. It took a lot of action, but eventually I was able to find it. And you might just be on the part of the journey that's at the start. It's a lot of fun, I'll tell you that, but you just haven't figured that thing out yet. And guys, seriously, I am incredibly lazy on a lot of things. And if you look at the things that I'm lazy at, it's things that don't give me fulfillment, that don't give me joy. Right now, work is stuff that I'm excited about, so work is extremely easy to do. There's no friction, and I can be lazy while working a lot on my business. So now that we have framed laziness as just lack of action due to lack of passion, hopefully that sparks something in you, right? Like we are all capable of action, but only really when it aligns with the things that we want in life. So whether that be your interests, whether it be you're doing something to prove someone wrong, you want to build something that you're proud of, you want a Porsche 911, whatever it is, everyone has their own reason. We all have something that is going to drive us internally to take action. And we'll talk more about the actionables later on in this video. I just really wanted to talk about this mindset shift because I think that's what most of you guys need watching this video. It surely is what I needed when I was still trying to figure things out. But yeah, I will have to say, sorry, you are going to have to work hard at the start, but we're going to make that hard work actually seem easy. Now, a question I get all the time is, do I need to be a business owner or can I work for a company? Do I need to start a business to get rich? The answer is no, but the minimum thing you need is a pretty high income. So that could be from a business that you own, or it could be from having a high paying job. When you combine that with spending less money than you actually earn, that allows you to invest the difference, and that is a surefire way of actually becoming financially rich. The timeline is going to be completely different depending on what your inputs are, your outputs, aka your spending, as well as how much you actually save, how much you actually invest, and how well your investments do. That's of course all variable, and it can be quite a long journey, but it is pretty much guaranteed. So I like to think of it as 3 different paths. One is you have an average job, you save like the average American, which is barely anything, which means you invest almost nothing, which means you never get rich. The second is you have a good job, you're pretty frugal, so you're able to save and invest your money, and you're able to have a nice and rich life, although it might take some time. And then third is you are able to start a business that does well, you are able to save a ton, you're still frugal, you invest the remainder, and you actually get rich quite fast. Obviously, there are a bunch of in-betweens for these 3 different paths, but essentially we want to focus on the second. That's how you get financially rich. And if you want to get even more specific, only the third one gives you true wealth, because you can't be truly wealthy if you're still trading your time for money. Now, if you still consider yourself lazy, what I would do is go to the drawing board and figure out what you're passionate about. Once you figure out what you're passionate about, you're going to be a lot less lazy in your actions, but you still might be somewhat lazy, right? Just like me. Now, the thing you need to do to basically get rid of that laziness is build out processes and systems. There are probably so many different things in your life that you can start to automate right now. Of course, this is going to be a lot harder depending on how much spare cash you have, but automating a bunch of this time to free up time that you can spend to build your business or make more money or learn about things that help you make more money, this is such a good use of your effort. I like to view it as automating my habits. And speaking of automating things in my life, one of the biggest things most businesses can automate is their email marketing. The platform that I use and recommend is Omnisend, who's the sponsor of today's video. So I want to show you their platform really quickly. A big reason why I recommend Omnisend is because they make taking action super easy. And like I said before, more action leads to higher luck. That is the whole point of this video. You guys might be thinking that email marketing is dead. I know I used to think the same, but that's actually not the case, where business owners on Omnisend see up to $68 ROI per $1 spent. So here I am on my dashboard. It's super easy to make a campaign. You just go to create campaign. And something that I love is they have AI tools where you can get subject line ideas, which is awesome because I'm always overthinking what I should put. And they have over 250 email templates you can choose from. So once I choose a template, you can already see there are tons of different things to customize further in my email. You can add in your own photos, your own fonts, text, and customize it completely. And then when it comes to automations, they have tons of pre-built workflows and segments. For example, a really popular email that business owners use is the abandoned cart email. This is basically an email that automatically sends after someone leaves their cart to just say, hey, don't forget about us. We're selling out fast. You should take action soon. Emails like these are great because 1 in 3 people who click on an automated message make a purchase. Yeah, overall, there's so much you can do with Omnisend. And the best part is I have a code for you guys to get 30% off the first 3 months. And that code is CharlieChang30. So if you click on the link in the description down below, you'll get to this exact landing page and sign up from there. And now let's get back to the video. Everything you do needs to be in your calendar and it needs to be scheduled ahead of time. The most consistent things that I do in life are, for example, Chinese lessons, right? Right Right now I do them 2 times a week. I used to do 1 time a week, but it is literally scheduled in my calendar and with my Chinese teacher. So I can't just be like, oh, I'm too lazy, I don't want to do that. Like, it's literally something I have to do every single week. Same thing with the gym, same thing with other lessons, same thing with deep work. It's all scheduled within my calendar. So I can't really give myself an excuse or be lazy about it. Even filming this video, right? This was on my calendar for over a week. If I didn't have it in my calendar, maybe I would have just been lazy and not wanted to film. I like to think of it as accountability for yourself, because I think that's something that a lot of people lack, especially if you don't have a boss or someone that's looking over your shoulder 24/7. We need some type of accountability. And yeah, a calendar surprisingly works extremely well, at least for me. If you never want to have to think about something again, build a system for it. Really, the only reason why I'm so consistent on things that I do is because I schedule things on autopilot, so I don't even need to think about scheduling it. Thinking about scheduling something is one of the hardest things, and so you need to get rid of that variable. And if you already have a business, focusing on building out systems, SOPs within the business so that it can run smoothly without you, that is essentially how you become a lazy entrepreneur. I've spent the last few years doing exactly that, building out these systems within my businesses so that yes, they can run without my input. And guys, that is so freeing. I could technically be pretty lazy if I wanted to, and my businesses would still run okay. Of course, it's not going to do as well as if I were to actively put in effort, but those systems give me the ability to be lazy if I really want to. And guys, I think everyone needs to have these seasons of laziness. You can't be on grinding 24/7. That's just not possible. You absolutely need to take breaks where you can be lazy. And guys, that has been absolutely transformative for my mental health, as well as my ability to get good ideas and just continue wanting to do this. If I were to burn out, I would not like entrepreneurship. So being able to have lazy seasons is actually extremely critical. Okay, so now let's talk about the fundamental formula of leverage and compounding growth. This is a bit more practical and less like mindset. I know many of you will probably want this more practical, actionable advice as of right now. And of course, getting rich involves investing, right? So I'm going to talk about how I invest the lazy way and how it's actually made me a ton of money. So yeah, when it comes to investing, for 99% of you watching this video, I think you should invest the lazy way, which to be honest is actually quite hard. But essentially what this is you buy assets and you hold them for a long time. Most people, they can't do this, even though it's so simple, it's so easy on paper. Most people, they can't just buy something and forget about it. They have to constantly check it. They want to buy in at low prices. They want to get out at high prices. They want to time everything. They want to predict things. They think they can sort of beat the system. Well, I'm here to tell you, forget about it, because you probably can't beat the system. And this is probably advice that you hear quite a bit. Just buy index funds, assets that you understand, invest in the market, ETFs, mutual funds, set it and forget it. Although this is very typical advice that you hear on YouTube, there's reason why it is so popular. It's because I think it's actually true. And this is exactly what I do with my money. I never manage it actively. I don't like to focus my mental energy and mental brain power on investing, because I think you can be a very effective investor just investing passively. One thing you must absolutely do is buy assets that you understand and like. So for me, it's going to be stocks, it's going to be some crypto, real estate, putting money in treasury bills or high yield savings accounts, or even investing into my business as well as other people's business. To get rich, the flow of money needs to be this exactly. Money coming in from your job or your business, a little bit of money being spent on your life, and the rest of the money actually being directed to investments. Everyone that gets extremely rich does this. And when it comes to the things that give you the highest return on investments, it's really going to depend, and I'm not going to speculate. However, I will tell you that the biggest holding that I have is just in the S&P 500. I just invest in index funds that track the 500 largest companies in the US, and that is by far my largest holding. For money that I might need faster access to, I will invest in treasury bills. Right now that gets about 4.3% interest. Great thing is that the earnings are not taxed by your states. So if you're in a high income tax state like California, like I am, you can actually save quite a bit of money. I do own individual stocks. These are just going to be companies that I believe in. I have a solid amount of crypto because I believe in crypto, and I have a bit of real estate as well. I also enjoy doing some angel investing, so investing in early stage startups, but that's definitely the most active investing I do, and I don't actually recommend it for most people. So yeah, sure, you have stocks, crypto, real estate, all that stuff, but the number one ROI thing that is going to be universal for everyone is going to be investing in yourself, your knowledge, and your skills. This is by far the thing that makes me the most amount of money, because I wouldn't have any of this stuff if it weren't for investing in myself. I basically like to look at it like this. Money is a resource that can regenerate, right? It's pretty cool, but it can only regenerate if that money is put to work. If it's essentially delegated to something. If it just sits in your bank account, it's actually losing value. It's not just not making any money itself. It's actually losing money to inflation, which is super, super bad. Another way to think of it is like money could be like someone in a box. If you put a person in a box and you seal it shut, that person is just going to sit there and basically rot away. Now, on the flip side, let's say you have a person and instead of putting them in a box and sealing it shut, you send them out on a ton of business meetings across the world. You have them do a lot of stuff, a ton of action, right? If you do that and you have at least 5 brain cells, it's going to result in a positive return on investment. These are obviously pretty extreme situations because no one's actually sealed in a box, but actually a lot of people, they sort of live their life like that. They seal themselves in their house. They don't go out and do anything. They expect good opportunities to show up at their front door when they don't realize that they need to go out there and actually find these opportunities themselves, right? They're floating everywhere. There's a ton of great luck and things floating all over us. We just need to go out there, run around, find it, grab at it. And yeah, we just can't sit at home feeling sorry for ourselves, thinking, how am I so unlucky? Nothing good happens to me. And yeah, I don't like seeing it because I think almost everyone has a ton of potential, but that potential is not being unlocked just due to lack of action. So let's talk about the hard truth. If you're not willing to work smart or hard, then you will not get rich. If you hate effort, then you will have to accept average results. But if you're actually willing to start slow and build consistently, you can see a ton of success in this world. And the thing is that the bar is actually set quite low. Most people, they just don't get out there, take action, and actually start. So yeah, if you want to be low action or low effort, you're going to need a lot of external luck. And of course, we've talked about this entire video. You're not going to get external luck if you're not moving. If you're able to move a lot, do a lot of action, take a lot of risks, stuff like that, you're going to need way less external luck. And that's because you're going to make your own internal luck yourself. That's why for basically everyone watching this video, what I want you to do is go out there, figure out what you are passionate about, what makes work not feel like work, do a lot of movement, do a lot of action, turn it into a service-based business. And seriously, just try it, right? The worst that can go wrong is it fails and you try something else. I've actually failed a majority of the businesses that I've started, but those failures are what led me to where I am today. And to just sort of end the video, I want to give you guys some of the things that I think can make you a ton of money with sort of less effort. These are things that you can learn in not that much time that can totally be turned into a real business that can add so much value, and that's actually in a ton of demand. So right now that's going to be AI, more specifically building out AI automations or figuring out automations for different companies. If you spend 2 to 4 weeks learning about AI and how it can be used in companies, right? Like creating automations, how they can replace their workforce with different types of AI, different systems you can build using AI platforms, then you can absolutely go into a company, charge hundreds of dollars or more per hour and help them install these things. This is a huge thing that's in demand. Not that many people are doing it. And yeah, if I were starting from scratch right now with $0, that's exactly what I would do. A service-based business for a really in-demand skill like that is going to be a great business to start now. Although this formula basically works for any type of skill or service. If you guys want a ton of free resources, if you're looking to start your own company, I'll have them down below. And I just want to say one last thing, which is the only real shortcut is movement. And so yeah, stop thinking you're lazy. You're not lazy, and go out there and just do your thing. Hopefully this video was helpful. I know I talked about a lot. I'm pretty sure I rambled for a lot of this video, but hopefully you got some great takeaways from it. I know we talked a lot about mindset stuff, some actionable stuff, investing, whatever. And yeah, my whole goal with this channel is to help you become financially successful because I think it's really important. And I think a lot of people want this for themselves, but don't know how to do it. So yeah, if you got any value from the video, make sure to give it a like and also subscribe for more content just like this. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.